I think we should flip the camera. Yes, flip the script. Okay, there you go, Rabbi. You're good to go.
Just give us the light.
You're good. You're
There's
good,
no lights,
baby.
sir?
You're good to go. No lights and no time limit. Just have at it.
Okay. Greetings to one and all for one for all. Today, 20th of Adar 25776. Important day in the Richter family, in the small Richter family. Today, big happy birthday to my first daughter, my eldest daughter. Today is her birthday, 20th of Adar. It's also the memorial of my dear grandmother, Mary Gordon. So, anyways, with those thoughts, it gave me an extra push. Probably wondering why I don't have the holy tefillin on. Holy tefillin on. That's because I got back last night from a 3-day almost non-stop hike with my all-star Talmud Torah. We have an all-star Talmud Torah. There's the regular Talmud Torah, and there's the all-star Talmud Torah. So we have an all-star Talmud Torah of 7 kids. Once they finish a certain program, which takes usually about 6-7 years, from age 3, they finish around age 10. So we fly them out to, you heard it right, we fly them out to Eilat. And for 3 days we hike and more hikes. And it's almost nonstop, 72 straight hours. So I'm going on like 2.5 hours sleep. And after teaching today, and it gave me an extra push. I was thinking, should I come to Tapuach? I'm like, in fact, I'm really going since Purim. So it's exactly a week. Purim was exactly a week ago. So I'm really going nonstop. So I was thinking, but this my daughter's birthday and my grandmother's memorial gave me the extra push I need to come here today. And so I don't want to fall asleep with, you're not allowed to fall asleep when you have tefillin on. So I didn't wear them today. But don't worry, they haven't been stolen. They're still by me. With God's help, of course, somebody asked me, I see the sponsorship of your class has been changed. I said, what do you mean? I said, well, you always used to say the sponsor, you should always gave the sponsor was the classes for the sake of heaven, in order to please HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God. He hasn't changed. There's an old joke. There was a wife, some say she was Moroccan, and she was complaining that her husband never says she loves her. So one day, they've been married for 30, 40 years. So, and she's complaining all the time that the husband never says anymore that he loves her. So he told her one day, he was tired of hearing this complaint, and he said, listen, okay, don't you remember, it was about 30, 40 years ago, I told you under the chuppah that I love you. If anything changes, I'll tell you. If anything changes, I'll tell you. So folks, this class, we're sponsored. Okay, we're sponsored by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's for the sake, for the name, in order to please HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to bring out the divine presence from the exile. And it hasn't changed. Once it does, we'll tell you about it. Okay, but thanks for the point. Thanks for the point. And also, there was another person pointed out that get a compass or something for my tefillin. I just want you to know, sometimes I get a little excited. I always get excited in these classes. Not one of these. It's not the Hebrew or the PLO University here. Don't get us. It's not Bar Minan University or Bar Ilan. If you're an Aramaic expert, you got the joke. Bar Minan University. It's not here. You know what I'm saying? It's Torah, hopefully from the heart. Okay, now I'm really excited. Speaking about excitement, I'm really excited. We're going to have a series. We're going to have a serious series of classes. We're going to tackle this. I don't think it's ever been done. I mean, in my humble opinion, Rav Kahana, he was the first one that did a little bit of expansion on the idea. The idea, the headline of our class will be, is a Jew allowed to celebrate at the downfall of the enemies of the Jewish people? Now, if you ask most people that are connected to Rav Kahana, they'll give you a quick answer, and say one of those quick punches like, oh, gotcha, yeah. They'll give you a quick punch, something that they've heard before, one or two sources, and adios, amigo. They're off. After Rav Kahana, now we have to understand, the fact that Rav Kahana was able to expand on all this is really amazing. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Rav Mordechai Eliyahu said himself, how was Rav Kahana able to expand? You look at all the Torah. I'm not talking about the God politics that he was involved in, as Rav Tzvi Yehuda Kook would call it. We're not involved in politics. We're involved in God politics. So, but if I'm not mistaken, Rav Eliyahu said that he was amazed how Rav Kahana, with his busy schedule and things that he was doing, how he was able to delve in so deeply and come up with some tremendous Torah thoughts, we haven't seen in thousands of years, a lot of subjects which were not brought up. So it's an amazing thing that he was able to expand it all. But afterwards, another student of Rav Kahana, he really unbelievable work. It could be found in the book of Baruch HaGever. It's about, if I'm not mistaken, it's about 30 pages. 30 pages of Torah sources, like the popular Torah sources, Chazal and the Talmud, etc. And he really expanded on the idea. Now, I called him up, just so I'm not arrested here. I called him up about 2 months ago, when all of a sudden I read what he wrote. I was reading what he wrote. I went over it again, and I was really impressed with in my humble opinion, I mean, for all thousands of years, this guy deserves a prize. It was Rav David Cohen. He deserves a prize for the work that he did. I don't think there's anywhere you could find such a wealth, a treasure of sources, and just how to look at it. So I was really impressed with what I saw. So I called him up. It wasn't easy. Found his phone number, and I said, listen. I said, Rav David, I want to offer you I want to offer you a great offer. I said, listen, Rav Goren Zatzal, blessed memory, first chief rabbi of the IDF, he has a two volume books on the laws of the army. And once again, think about that. How many thousands of years did we not have books, on the laws of a Jewish army? It's an amazing fact. The fact that we're still sitting here, we're not freaking out and jumping up out the windows, up through the roof there. We're going to tear the roof off the sucker. It's an amazing thing. So for thousands of years, we didn't have these kinds of discussions. They wasn't dealt with. So he has a short, maybe 4 pages, 5 pages. He goes into one of the chapters that he discusses, Rav Goren, is that when we deal with the army and the wars of the modern Israel, modern day land of Eretz Yisrael, we should be very careful to celebrate the victory of the Jewish people, the sanctification of Hashem's name, but in no way should we celebrate the downfall of our enemies, because that is contrary to what the Torah is teaching us. So I said, Rav David, here's my offer. Take it or take it. I'll copy, I'll send you a fax, I'll send you a copy of the article within the book. And you write part 2 to what you're unbelievable. There's a word for it. When somebody does like a Magnus, what's it?
Magnus Opus.
Magnus Opus, okay. There we go. I really have to, I have to thank these classes in English, because I don't think if I didn't have classes in English, I think most of my English would probably be out the window. The only reason I'm able to remember a lot of, words that come back to me, it's only due to these classes in English. I would be like, those English people don't speak English. So, anyways, I said, listen, write part 2, take his argument, and bring down the opposite side. Okay, which I hope is the correct side, the Hashem side. So he told me that he's not really able to do it these days. He's not able to do it. So thank you, but no thank you. I hung up the phone and I said, listen, the Mishnah teaches us if you're in a place in life where you see that there are no people moving, you start moving, Jack.
When there is no men, strive to be a man.
Okay, there we go. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And for the last 2 months, every so often, when I have time, 10 minutes here, half hour there, whatever, I sit down. And one after another, I start seeing a world. Unbelievable. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, it's such a long day. It's like, it was yesterday, some hours ago, wasn't that long ago. But we were doing snorkeling in the Red Sea, snorkeling. So one of the kids in the All-Star Talmud Torah says, wow, there's a whole world underneath this water. I look at, the kid tells me, he's 9 years old. He says, you look in the water, you don't see anything. You see water. But now that we were going down, with snorkeling it out, unbelievable what you see. You see the coral reefs, and you see the fish and the different colors, and you see snakes, and unbelievable. A whole world out below.
Plants.
What?
Plants,
yeah.
Unbelievable.
Wild. So there's a whole world out there. And I'm really, really excited about it, because even though it's going to be like, there was Rocky 6, and is the state of Israel, Samson, is the state of Israel, there were 10. We passed Rocky. Bum, bum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum. Yeah, Rocky, we passed you, Jack. Dum, da-da-dum, bum, bum, bum. Where's Apollo? What's his name? Creed. Whoa, Apollo Creed when you need him. We passed Rocky. I don't know, it's going to be Rocky here. I don't know how many we're going to pass, but it has to be done. There has to be a place in the world where if somebody wants to look up this subject, he wants it all. I want to know, where's the truth? And you know what? I'm going to tell you something sad. I notice in the classes something very interesting. And it's science. It's science. I haven't seen any exception to the rule. When we do a series, because we're trying to be serious, so that's why we do series. So when we do the series, there's 2, 3 parts, sometimes 4 parts, sometimes 5. But it's only because, we're not Hollywood here. It's not, it's not a TV show which gives you, after a half hour, you have the beginning, the plot, and solving it, the mystery, the middle. It's not Hollywood. It's not a movie here where after 45 minutes or an hour, it's all over. I mean, it's Torah. So you have to be serious. You have to be a person that wants to see truth. In order to want to see truth, you can't say, well, give me 20 minutes, give me the answer. That's not the way it works. If somebody asks you, can you open up an umbrella on Shabbos? Okay, give them the answer. But if somebody wants to understand, why can't you open the umbrella on Shabbos? You can't give them, in 2 minutes, the answer. So unfortunately, I've seen it. The first class, there's a large audience. The second, it's less. And the third, okay, it's less. So it's going on the Richter scale. On the Richter scale, it's going like, boom, down, down, And that's sad. It's a sad statement because I give myself a blessing and all of us a blessing that we should be deep Jews, Jews of tremendous roots. And roots are heavy. I could tell you, I just came back from this trip in Eilat. We were, 2 days in the Sinai desert, sweating it out. And it's unbelievable. There's not too much growing in the Sinai desert. Let me tell you about that. But there's this tree called the Shita. Okay? Remember the Atzei Shitim Omdim in the Mishkan, in the tabernacle? So there's a few trees that are growing. It's called a Shita tree. I don't know what it's called in English. Cedar, but it's like small guy. It's like this tall. He's like this tall. He's like Nate Archibald height. I see that one passed over you, Len.
No. Remember well. Rocky also went down though. No, the first was bigger than the second.
Yeah, it could be. Okay, probably was. It probably was. You were correct. So okay, I don't feel so bad anymore. Thank you. Pass the tissues. Okay. So anyways, folks, but I mean, this is really unbelievable. Check this out. Hold on to your seats. So our tour guide, he's a tremendous. His name is Rav Gadi Herling. If you're ever going to Eilat, look him up. Okay. He used to live in Elon Moreh. He's a tour guide. That's what he does. And he just brings you all of the Torah. He brings you, okay, he told me once, I told him I was deliberating where to take the kids to the underwater observatory in Eilat, which is international, the underwater museum in Eilat, or to take them to King City, which is now, by the way, closed. They closed about half hour ago, which is like an amusement park. So he told me the following, Rav Gadi. He says, listen, that amusement park has no place in Eilat. I said, why not? He says, because that's not Eilat what it's all about. Eilat is about the Torah. Eilat is about the mountains, about coming closer to Hashem. That's Eilat. And not this amusement park junk. That has nothing to do with Eilat. Go to the observatory, the underground, underwater observatory. Go there. That's Eilat. Then you see how great God is. That's what he told me. But anyways, back to this tree. The roots.
Archaea. Shitim. I say shitim. Archaea.
Yeah.
I see in English archaea.
Yeah.
Acacia.
Listen.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Acacia
Yeah, there we go.
Acacia.
Right. Coming back. It's coming back to me now.
So what did they use for the ark?
So, how deep are the roots? Unbelievable. The roots are 7-story building down.
Wow.
That's how far down it is. It's just understand, in our terms, it's a 7-story building, the roots. And that's the ones going down. There's ones also going to the side. It's going to the side. It's like, in meters, it's 50. One of them is 50. One of them is 20 meters.
70 feet.
Okay, it's unbelievable. So we have to bless ourselves, and we have to always strive. We're not, we're not this light, Torah light. We're not, Dati light. You have to be people that are, people that are deep. So anyways, it's going to take, going to take classes, but it has to be done. There has to be a place in the world, because As I said, I brought the history of Rabbi Kahana. He was the one that started it. Afterwards, Rav David Cohen, he really, brought it into a different league. And, I'm saying it has to be also available for all people that are serious that are interested in a true answer. So it takes time in order to go over all the issues and the sources. It's going to take time. But it's definitely, for those people that are interested, it's going to be wild. Okay, so let's start. We have a few question marks. When we talk about celebrating the downfall of the wicked, we know that most Jews, if we celebrate the downfall of the wicked, we know that many, many Jews will cringe at their very essence. It's something that's difficult for the Jewish people. So if it's difficult for the Jewish people, there must be some kind of source, whether it's 100% correct, 80, 50, 10%, 5%, 1%, doesn't matter. There has to be there's some kind of thread here, a link, something bothering the Jewish people that does not allow us to free ourselves and celebrate. So we're going to bring right now the major problems, that the major sources that will put up a red flag, or a black flag actually, and will give us a kind of feeling that it's not the Jewish way to celebrate at the downfall of our enemies. Okay, number one, we have a Mishnah in the ethics of our fathers. It says very clear, black and white, Binpol oyevcha al tismach. Do not rejoice at the downfall of your enemy. Okay? Straight out, simple sentence. It's pretty clear, straightforward. Seems like it's not hiding anything deep, anything beyond. But we know everything in the Torah, there's way beyond. It's like the sea, below the surface, there's a whole world. But on the surface, that's the way it looks. Very simple. Okay, let's go home. You're not allowed to rejoice at the downfall of your enemy. Okay, number one. Number two, there's a chazal, a midrash. It's called Midrash Harninu, which ironically means rejoice. In this Midrash Harninu, it asks the question, a good question. How come on Pesach we only say depending where you are in the world here, but let's say Israel. In Israel, we say the first night and the first day of Passover, coming up soon at your house. Any men out there or children, it might be a good time. There must be 50 ways to get out of your house, This is the good time to get out of that house. You don't want to be stuck there with those women. They're waiting for the spring cleaning. They're waiting for a sacrifice. Your kids are not sacrifices. For Passover, let them, have a little bit of a break, a little bit of breathing. Dust is not chametz. Leave our kids alone. Yeah, it's coming back to me. Hey, leave our kids alone. Then think about it. Come back tomorrow. Okay, so it says, how come just on the first day of Passover, we have the entire full version of Hallel. The next 6 days we'll call it the censored version, Rimon, It's the Rimon version of Hallel. We only get half. Why is that? So, this Chazal, Midrash Harninu, says the following. He says the reason is that on the seventh day of Passover, what happened? Doom, doom, doom. Another Egyptian bites the dust. Ooh, boom, doom, doom. Yeah, we had the drowning of the Egyptians at the sea. So therefore, the Midrash continues to say, because of the fact that it says in the Mishnah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not happy. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not happy, okay? When Hashem saw that the Egyptians, so to speak, when Hashem saw the Egyptians drowning, the angels wanted to sing a song in celebration. And Hashem says, but my work, my creations, my people are drowning, those that I've created, the human beings that I've created, and you want to sing a song? So therefore, we don't, okay, therefore, we only say a half of Hallel on Pesach. Now, the obvious question here is, one second, I can understand if you want to tell me that the seventh day of Passover, we don't say an entire Hallel because of the fact that the Talmud in the Tractate of Sanhedrin, 39th page, tells us what we just talked about, that Hashem stopped the angels from singing praises of Hashem to celebrate the downfall because Hashem was not happy that he had to eliminate his creations, the Egyptians. Okay, so here's how we're going to do it. 6 days of Pesach, we'll say a full entire Hallel. Okay? The last day of Pesach, because there's a problem that's the day the Egyptians drowned. So, okay, the last day we'll make a compromise and a half. However, this is not Torah logic. Why? Because the commentators say, and this is also brought down in halachic works, that not so. This thinking process here is not correct. Why? Because we can't have a situation. We can't have a situation where during the days of Chol HaMoed, the middle days of the holiday of Passover, these 5 middle days, we can't have a situation where we're going to have a special law for them. We're going to say they are more important, but they are days of holiday, but they're called Chol. It's not the Shabbat. It's not the Yom Tov. You're allowed to travel. You're allowed to do many types of melachot, different types of work that you're allowed to do. Intermediate days. So we can't have a situation where the intermediate days are holier. Why are they holier? Because we would say that for the 5 days, the intermediate days, we'll say a full Hallel. And the last day, which is a day of holiness, which you're not allowed to do work, you're not allowed to light fires, etc. On that day, which is halachically much greater, spiritually much higher than the 5 intermediate days, which are days of a holiday, but it's still the weekday, so to speak, the Monday. You can't have this. It's like what we would call v'nafochu. It's the opposite. You can't have something that's more important, less on the scale. So it has to be even. We have to have that for the intermediate days, there is no full Hallel, continuing on to the last day, which also we don't have a full Hallel, and therefore, at least they're on the same level. We're not uplifting, we're not elevating the intermediate days over the last day, which is a spiritual, which is a day similar to Shabbat. Okay, so that's we can't say that. Okay, we won't say a Hallel for the last day, but for 5 days 6 days we'll say it. Okay, next. One might say, okay, buddy, very good. But this is an idea, it's a concept, okay, we'll think about it. But it's not connected to halacha. But not so. Because this midrash, ironically, is brought down by halachic commentators. For example, we'll throw out a few names. Beit Yosef. Beit Yosef has two works. He has, in the Torah, he has Beit Yosef, which is very expansive. It's not like the Code of Jewish Law. It's very precise. It's not a lot of words. So there's the Beit Yosef, which could be found in the book called the Torah. And then there's the Shulchan Aruch. In the Shulchan Aruch, it's not brought down. But it is brought down in the Beit Yosef. Beit Yosef says the reason why we don't say a full Hallel on the seventh day of Passover, and he quotes the Midrash Harninu. That's one. Number two, Mishnah Brura. The Chafetz Chaim writes that when the Shulchan Aruch writes that when the Code of Jewish Law writes that we don't say a full Hallel on the last day, he doesn't give a reason. But the Mishnah Berurah, the Chafetz Chaim, does. He quotes this Midrash Harninu. So we also have that. We have also Kaf HaChaim. We have the Aruch HaShulchan that quotes this. Okay, so we can't pull that, we can't pull the flag out and say, okay, it's an idea, it's hashkafa, it's Jewish thinking, philosophy. Problematic. It's brought down by halachic law commentators. Okay, next. Third problem, the third source is the following. Just about 2.5 weeks ago, we had a very, very special Shabbat. It's called Shabbat Zachor. I don't want to give a pun. Do you guys remember it? Okay, I'm not going to say that pun. But 2.5 weeks ago, we had Shabbat Zachor, where we remember what Amalek did against the Jewish people. Okay, now, how many times have we heard that? How many? Zachor. Okay, one more year. Let's not, put up a notch over there. One more year. And we never thought to ask the question. Why? Because we're all sleeping. We're having a good shlof here, baby. We're all sleeping here. So, what's the answer? Okay, what's going on? The Kaf HaChaim asks a great question. I don't understand. I'd love to do a Purim play on the Shabbat Zachor, the special Shabbat. It's the one Shabbat a year, according to all opinion, that it's a Torah commandment to hear the Torah being read, which means during a regular Shabbat, I don't like using the word every Shabbat is special, but we'll just call it for the namesake. A regular Shabbat, we do listen to the Torah reading, but it's only a rabbinic commandment. One time a year, it's from the Torah. So we have guys in all different kinds of accents. You got the Yemenite people with their, and you have the Dosim with these. Everything is like Seischem, You have them, and you have the Farad, Et Seitchem, and you have Yerushalmi, and you have Moroccan, and it's just like it's like the borscht. And sometimes, if you really if you really came to the wrong shul, there might be like a line. There's like a long, like what you walk into a shul and there's like a traffic jam. What's this line here doing in the shul? Well, it's the people lined up. It's the lineup card, Here, get the lineup cards. It's a lineup because they're all waiting to do the Torah reading in their accent. Perhaps that's the correct accent. So, you might be there for a while. Now, the Kfar Chaim asks a question. We should have asked, how come in God's name, if this one time a year, this special Shabbat, by the way, in parentheses, the Beit Yosef, who we just mentioned, Rav Yosef Cairo, writes that this Shabbat in 2 days, this Shabbat, which is called the Shabbat Parah, the cow, it's also a Torah commandment to hear it. So just to be on the safe side, when you come to the shul or synagogue this Shabbat, don't read along with the reader. Listen to what he's saying. Don't read. Because if you're reading from your printed book and it doesn't hold water. You have to hear it from the reader, who should have in mind to have all the congregation to fulfill their obligation. Anyway, so that's a pretty big gun who says that also this week it's from the Torah. Anyways, he asked a great question. If this is the only reading of the Torah during the year, that we have a mitzvah from the Torah, then why, for the sake of heaven, is there no blessing? Why is there a blessing? When we eat matzah, you say a blessing. When you eat that maror, you say a blessing. When you put on your tzitzit, you say a blessing. When you do a mitzvah, okay, usually, so when you put on a rail, a staircase in your house, you say a mitzvah. You say a bracha. Huh? Didn't think about that. How long have we been hearing? How long have we been in this movie, for? And we didn't think about that question. It's a good question. Why don't we say a bracha? Don't worry, quick answer. Okay, the generation of the quick. Hey man, I don't need these 3, 4, 5, 10 series. Give me the answer, quick. We want quick food, you know what I'm saying? What's it called?
Fast food.
Fast food, yeah. Fast food, street Jew. You're too much, man. I'm going to have to take you everywhere I go,
Disposable generation.
You'll be my translator when I need that. When I need that expression, man. I need that expression. Okay, give it to me. Fast food, yeah. We're the McDonald's. We're the Jack in the Box age. Okay, give me this Ben rice, Ben rice. I would call it Ben something else rice. But, you just pour water on it and all of a sudden you have rice. And you put noodles, just put rice. You have noodles. Oh, this stuff is like poison. Really bad for you. Yeah, ask Shlomo. Okay, so he gives it quick. Quick to the point. The reason why we don't say a bracha on the parsha of Zachor, remember what Amalek is? Because it says in the Mishnah, Bin pol oivecha al tismach. For 1 second. Do we have an ambulance here? Second. Wow. Okay, so let's just take it back. We have 3 steps so far. Number 1, we have a Mishnah in Ethics of the Fathers. When your enemy falls, don't rejoice. Okay, it's number 1. Number 2, when the Egyptians fall, okay, the angels wanted to sing. Don't rejoice. Okay, Hashem says, my creations are drowning. They're being killed off. You want me to be happy? You want to sing? Not the time. Number 2. Number 3, we asked about why don't we say a full Hallel on the last day of Pesach? Talked about the Midrash Arninu. We don't celebrate the downfall of our enemies. Number 4, why don't we say a blessing once a year when we're biblically commanded to remember what Amalek did to the Jewish people? Why don't we say a bracha? Once again, the same answer basically is that we don't celebrate we don't say a blessing when the enemies of the Jewish people fall. Okay, next source that we're going to tackle in the next coming weeks. God willing, next week is the last class before Passover break, and then we'll come back a month later, after Passover, etc., with God's help. So next week will be part 2, but afterwards we'll continue with Hashem's help. Okay, next problem. We get in 3 weeks' time, God willing, 3 weeks and 2 days. I don't want to put fear in you, but in that time, we're going to sit down to the Seder, and then we're going to do something really, really strange. What are we going to do? We're going to do the following. We're going to take our finger, okay, don't get any connotations here. We're going to take our finger. Now, I'm not going to, this might sound a little bit, for you in America, it might sound, I'm not going to tell you which finger, to give. I'm not going to say which finger to give. Because there's a dispute on which finger you're supposed to use. But on the night of the Seder, we're going to sit down, and 16 times we're going to do it. How are we going to do it? I'm not saying which finger right now. I'm not going to go into it. Okay? But just let's say one of the opinions is that you put this finger into the cup, and for 16 different times, you're going to go like this. You're going to put your finger, I hope you've washed it, at least doctors say 15 seconds, baby. 15 seconds with soap, less, it's not going to kill that bacteria, okay? 15 seconds, I hope you washed it before you, put your finger in your cup. And then you hit it on your plate, okay? We say it, we do that 16 times. When we say the 10 plagues separately, dam, blood, frogs, we do it 10 times, 10 plagues. When we say how talking about Rabbi Yehuda, he gave a remembering code acronym to remember, and then so that's 3 times, Tatzach, Adash Be'achab, and then 3 more times when we say that Hashem hit him, okay, with blood and smoke and fire on the water, So there's 3 words there: blood, fire, and smoke. Dam, ve'esh, timrot ashan. So 16 times we do that. Why is that so? Very interesting. Why is that so? For 30 years, 20 years, 10 years, 50 years, we've been putting the finger. We've been giving our cup, putting the finger in the cup. What the heck for? What are we doing? What's the reason behind it? So, 2 very, very special rabbis, Rabbanim, the Rav Shimshon Raphael Hirsch weighs in here. Many weigh in here, but I'm telling you what we're interested in here. There, Rav Shimshon Raphael Hirsch and the Abarvanel asked this question. As many others, commentaries, they said, what is going on here? Why do we do it? Because what does the cup represent? The cup represents wine. Why did Hashem create wine? It was to make people joyful. For example, if you really want to see a Jew, I would wait till Purim, because that's where the mask is really taken off, which is interesting, because on Purim, everyone's putting on the mask. Not so. This is not my line. This is, if I'm not mistaken, this is the Rebbe of Slonim, of blessed memory. He says, the world will tell you that during the year we go without masks, and on Purim we put on a mask, and I tell you that the Jewish people throughout the year wear masks, and on Purim take it off. Psst. Chevra, just sit there. Just sit there. Don't get excited about it. Don't open up your hearts. It's unbelievable, very deep Torah there. I tell you that the Jews the entire year are wearing masks. That's not who they are. When do you want to see? When you want to see who Jew really is? When you really want to see? Once again, not my words. Talmud teaches us when wine enters a person, what comes out? Sod. Wine is 70 in the numerical value, and sod, secret, is 70 also. So how do you know a person? Very easy. If you ever notice, if you want to understand what I'm saying, go to a religious neighborhood. Go to like a rabbi's house on Purim. You'll see some of the greatest words of Torah, some of the highest were given during when people were intoxicated. During Purim. Okay? Some of the many Gdolei Yisrael, giants, Jewish giants, were saved by the fact that there was some holiday called Purim. And that's what saved them. They were about to leave the yeshiva world, and we would have lost tremendous giants in Torah. But the day that saved them was the Purim. I mean, come to Elon Moreh, come to some of the settlements. You could see, what are people, they're on the floor, they're rolling, and they're crying, Hashem, where's the Beit HaMikdash? Hashem, our enemies, it's such a desecration. That's what's coming out of their mouth. Love of Jews is coming out. Love of the Torah. That's how you tell a person. So, wine has a tremendous, think about it. The Or HaChaim, a famous Or HaChaim, says, you know that there's an unusual Talmud. The Talmud tells us that Rabbah invited Rav Zera to a Purim party. Man, this is one of the wildest Gemaras in the world. So what happens? So they're getting together and they're drinking and stuff like that. All of a sudden, Rabbah comes and he slaughters Rav Zera. He slaughters Rav Zera. And then the next day, he brings him back to life and he's back to normal again. Okay? A year passes, 1 year goes by, and guess who's back? Rabbah sees Rav Zera. Hey, Rav Zera, can you come in for a second? Can we do it one more time? Let's do it again. Can you imagine Rav Zera? He was just, someone just took his life and miraculously brought him back to the world. Now he says, let's do it again. Like, thanks, but no thanks. And hit the hills. Run for it. Hide. That's what happened. Yeah. Rabbah pulls out his pistol. Every Jew at 22. He says, Rav Zera, I had a little bit too many drinks. Boom, yeah. That's what happened. We're not going to get into it. That's a class within itself. But just a little hint at the idea. The hint of the idea is the Or HaChaim writes on Parshat Acharei Mot that one of the opinions of why the two sons of Aaron were killed on the first day of Nisan, in the day that the temple, the tabernacle was inaugurated. So Hashem took their lives. One of the opinions is that they went into the tabernacle. They were drunk. You're not allowed to drink a certain amount of wine. Or Chaim says, what's going on? So the Chaim says an unbelievable Torah. He says what was going on, that their idea was that in order for a person to lose a sense of body, then if you're a spiritual person, you leave your body and you become more spiritual. That's why, as we mentioned a few minutes ago, so many people, their lives changed spiritually for the better on Purim when they were drunk. Because you lose the side of the body, the limitations of the body. And then if you're a special person, if you're a Torah Jew, the way you should be, it should bring out in you that side. The secrets of Torah should be coming out of you. The love of Hashem should be coming, not curse words. If curse words or fighting or all kinds of behavior that we see, unfortunately, sometimes even in religious circles, because today, what does it mean to be religious? You have a kippah on your head, that means you're religious. You have a beard, it means you're religious. Unfortunately, today, there's a small minority that they're not really religious. But for the most part. So therefore, that's what they were after. They were interested, the sons of Aaron. They knew that you were not allowed to drink, but they wanted to be. They were willing to lose their lives in order to get a spiritual high. And that was only able to be attained by a lechaim, or by the wine. So going back to wine is very special. Wine was created by God. The Torah tells us why God created wine in order for people to celebrate, to be happy. To be happy. We give it to mourners. A person lost a loved one, give them wine in order to make them feel better. Okay, so Abarvanel, Rav Shimshon Raphael Hirsch, why do we do the ceremony of dipping our fingers?
So why did Rabbi kill Zera?
Because it doesn't mean that he killed them literally. It means that they were at such a high spiritual level, like when Rabbi Akiva, there are 4 people that went into the secrets of the Torah, this, the Garden of Eden, so to speak. What happened to them? Most of them didn't come out. One went mad, one was killed. Only Rabbi Akiva came out okay. So they went to a place and they got too much. They were taken away they lost contact with their bodies. They become totally separate from their bodies. That's the idea. The same idea there was a spiritual. And that's why the next year you would think that why would he have the gall to invite him again for a party that he killed him? Like, you have to be an idiot to, okay, let's do it again. You ruined somebody's car. Can I borrow your car? Is it okay? 1 second, you just ruined my first car. You want to borrow it again and ruin my second car? You're nuts. Why doesn't he invite him? Why does he invite him? Because that's not what was happening at all. But Rav Zera says, you know what? Last time you were able to bring me back. You were able to connect me again with my body. But who says that miracles happen all the time? Maybe this year we'll go up and we're not on the proper level or something, and then we're not going to come back to this world. We're going to be totally, devoid of our bodies, and that's it. And this world, we have a purpose to be here. Anyways, that's just in parentheses. So these 2 commentators say the reason why we put our finger 16 times in the wine is to lessen the celebration. Wine is simcha, happiness, celebration. So because of the fact that Jews do not celebrate the downfall of our enemies, we put our fingers and we lessen the amount of wine in the cup. And therefore, even though we drink the cup later, we understand that our joy is limited in some degree due to the fact that it wasn't just the salvation of the Jewish people. Then there would be no need to limit the amount of wine. But because there's also another aspect of the Egyptians falling, so therefore we remember this by a little bit taking out from our celebration. It's like you go to a restaurant and there's 4 courses, and the last course is like the best course, and you say, you know what? I'm going to remember Jerusalem. All right? This is like actually halacha. I'm going to remember Jerusalem, the fact that the temple is destroyed, and I'm going to only eat 3 out of the 4 courses. Or a person's eating something and he leaves a little bit, he's dying to have another bite of something, and he leaves it on the side. Why? He remembers that the divine presence is in exile. So, anyways, that's the idea here. So, the last point is is Lot. We know that Lot is saved through the merit of Abraham. He saved him and his family. They're saved from the destruction of the city of Sodom. And then the angel tells them something very interesting. Says, don't look back. Why not look back? Very simple. If you look back, you'll see what's happening to the city of Sodom. And you are not a worthy person to look back at the sea. Why? Because that could easily be you. The fact that you're here walking this way and not behind you with all the destruction, that's only because you have batting for you someone named Abraham. So you go and you don't look back. You don't look and take satisfaction to the downfall of the wicked people of Sodom. So here once again, we see this principle that Hashem tells the spiritual angel to tell these people not to look at the downfall of the wicked people of Sodom. So these are the 7 points. These are 7 points that, God willing, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to tackle each point and we'll come up to very, very interesting conclusions here on each point with Hashem's help. Till next week.
I wanted to say,
Well, I hope
Rabbi,
Rocky 2. I hope they tune into Rocky 2.
yeah. We'll Periscope next week. I hope it came out good. But listen, Rabbi, just in case anyone in the world was wondering what the Jewish Sweet 16 is. So this is the Sweet 16. And especially if you use Manischewitz.
Oh, yeah.
If you use Manischewitz, it's super sweet.
Listen, but it seems like you're too cool for us.
Street Jew approves of the pinky. Because we're doing it with the weakest finger. So we're also not celebrating, with putting our fist in we're putting our smallest finger. Did it stay on? All right. Yo, street Jews in the house, yo. Who's talking to me? Hey. Hello there, Comert.
I remember very well.
How are you, Professor? Hey, look, Rabbi, you got stars. Rabbi, you should thank your audience. Thank you for the stars, people.
Your enemy. I think it's definitely or something like that.
Stars, Periscope.
Dusted off about dragon.
Okay, shalom, toda. I joined the lecture, although I'm not Jewish. Good. Nice to have you join. Go back from the beginning. We're going to shut it off. Shalom from LA. Hey, how are you, LA?
Seriously, I'll double check on that.
Nice. Hi, Wuma Jedu.
It's in the blood of your enemy or something. Or something like that.
No. Palestine, that would be called Jordan, my friend. So if you want to go there until we take over that land, you could have that as your Palestine. Look that up. 87% of the people over there are these misplaced. They're placed over there for now. Okay, so God bless you guys. Thank you for joining us. Watch it, and we'll post it next week.
Hey.